You do not want to miss this speech by Donald Trump that he gave in Saudi Arabia in 2017, 2018 to leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council. I want to make it very clear before we watch this. This is not me endorsing Donald Trump. This has nothing to do with politics. I have publicly, since I've been on social media, online and offline, publicly talked about how I'm not a big Trump person. But you have to give credit to where it is due. Let's get into the video. Let's break it down. It is a fascinating speech that is extremely relevant to today.
65% of its population is under the age of 30. Like all young men and women, they seek great futures to build, great national projects to join, and a place for their families to call home. But this untapped potential, this tremendous cause of optimism, is held at bay by bloodshed and terror. There can be no coexistence with this violence. There can be no tolerating it, no accepting it, no excusing it, and no ignoring it. If a terrorist murders an innocent person and falsely invokes the name of God, it should be an insult to every person of faith. Terrorists do not worship God. They worship death. If we do not act against this organized terror, then we know what will happen and what will be the end result.
I'm not going to lie to you. It's honestly kind of disrespectful when you think about it. Like people shouting, terrorists shouting Allahu Akbar in the name of God. But is it in the name of God or is it in the name of death? Or is it both? Like in what world, in what reality, in what society is shouting in the name of the God that you believe in while committing some sort of an act of resistance where you're supposed to be and rise to heaven after being dead and join your brothers and sisters, as if that is a good deed, as if that is what some God had told you that you should be doing when you're alive? Where is that in a normal, sane society that believes in peace and prosperity and being able to live side by side with your neighbors? You have this act of radical jihadism, and it is not that, it's very obvious as to where we are today. It's predictable. You could have predicted that what happened on October 7th was bound to happen, not the length, like the depth of the severity, but the fact that they were thinking about doing something like that, obviously. Why is that obvious? It's written in their charter. They talk about being martyrs, shaheeds. They breed children and kids. And this isn't new stuff to you. And shouting in the name of God, or is it in the name of death actually, has turned out to be something that people are beginning to praise, which is a very scary reality.
Devastation of life will continue to spread. Peaceful societies will become engulfed by violence, and the futures of many generations will be sadly squandered. If we do not stand in uniform condemnation of this killing, then not only will we be judged by our people, not only will we be judged by history, but we will be judged by God. This is not a battle between different faiths, different sects, or different civilizations. This is a battle between barbaric criminals who seek to obliterate human life and decent people, all in the name of religion. People that want to protect life and want to protect their religion.
Does any of this sound familiar? Does any of this sound familiar to anybody? When we talk about the two sides of the conflict today, between Israel and Palestine, between Hamas, Hezbollah, and Israel, its enemies, bloodthirsty people versus people who value human life. I have to remind you all, this speech was given in Saudi Arabia in 2017 and 2018. Fast forward to 2023, 2024, 2025. Who can we fault? You have somebody like Donald Trump who gave what I would call an incredible speech. And I have to remind everybody, I'm talking specifically about the parameters of the Middle East as it pertains to Israel and its enemies and the people that live in the Middle East. We can fault ourselves. It's not like nobody knocked on the door. It's not like nobody said anything. It's not like the rhetoric that we have today is new. It's just amplified. A lot of the people who are woke, who suddenly want to pay attention to the Middle East, who suddenly want to see what's going on, become geopolitical analysts, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, you hear the same rhetoric over and over. You talk about colonization, and you talk about open air prison, and you talk about all of the different things, the catchphrases between Israel and Palestine, and not letting the humanitarian aid in, and what Israel's occupying them, all this stuff. Where was this rhetoric before? It's the leaders in the Middle East. It's the people in the Middle East. It's those who had the opportunity to listen to somebody like Donald Trump 6, 7, 8 years ago. The rhetoric is the same. The messaging is the same. And it's not a coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a coincidence because the Middle Eastern conflict just has little journeys and stops along the way, but it's all repetitive. It's all in the name of God. It's all in the name of these bloodthirsty animals, creatures, who choose violence, who choose hate, who choose to disperse, who choose not to come together, who this is their choice. And it's forced upon other people, which creates a cyclical, recurring event for it to continue to happen over and over. Let's go back to the video.
Battle between good and evil. When we see the scenes of destruction in the wake of terror, we see no signs that those murdered were Jewish or Christian, Shia or Sunni. When we look upon the strains of innocent blood soaked into the ancient ground, we cannot see the faith or sect or tribe of the victims. We see only that they were children of God whose deaths are an insult to all that is holy. But we can only overcome this evil if the forces of good are united and strong.
Real quick, what he just said is so on point. Those kids' deaths in the name of God, it's disrespectful. Why did the kids have to die in the name of God? They could have had the choice. They could have had the choice to have the free will to be able to do what they wanted to do, and they exist. Some of them do exist. Some of them speak up. Some of them I know personally. And they manage to say, wait a minute, why is this the life that I'm being taught to live? This doesn't seem like a human value, a trait, a persona that I want to carry with me.
And if everyone in this room does their fair share and fulfills their part of the burden, terrorism has spread all across the world. But the path to peace begins right here on this ancient soil in this sacred land.
I want to ask a question. When does real action actually start to take place? This is a very important question. I'm not talking about the resistance movement of October 7th. I'm not talking about college encampment protesters at Columbia and Ivy League schools. I'm not talking about going into the streets and trying to incite violence against other people. Even if you don't think or know that they're Jewish, you just see that maybe they aren't marching with you, so you choose to incite violence. I'm not talking about threats. I'm not talking about somebody taking a truck in New Orleans, driving through, trying to kill as many people as possible, Jewish or non-Jewish. And if the ones that weren't Jewish did get killed and they happened to be a part of the pro-Palestinian movement, they wouldn't have gotten reported. I'm not talking about people suddenly finding a way to hijack the fires in LA, cheering it on in the comment sections of aerial footage of drones going over LA after things started to burn, and then basically commenting, free Gaza, free Palestine, this is what should be happening. Now you guys are suddenly going to pay attention to us while LA burns in flames. None of this threads any needle to any peace in any society, especially the Middle East.
America is prepared to stand with you in pursuit of shared interests and common security. But the nations of the Middle East cannot wait for American power to crush this enemy for them. The nations of the Middle East will have to decide what kind of future they want for themselves, for their country, and friends.
That's so important. This isn't just Israel, okay? The Middle East is not just Israel. In fact, Israel's the smallest one. What about the countries around Israel? What about the people around Israel? What about the fact that they have issues amongst themselves, between Arab states? It's not just all versus one. Are you kidding me? What would happen right now? I pose this question all of the time, and I'm waiting for somebody to give me a really good answer. What would happen right now? Knocking on wood, if God forbid Israel did get wiped off the map and I was no longer here, we were no longer here, this filming equipment, this video, it was gone. What would happen? Who's going to take over the land? Are they going to just shake hands, figure it out, grab a measuring tape, call borders, excuse me, and call it a day? What, the Lebanese are going to come south, the Gazans are going to come north, the Jordanians are going to come west, the Syrians are going to come south, the Egyptians and Moroccans are also going to come north, and they're going to figure it out. They're not going to fight with one another. Everything's going to be clear, nice, shiny, roses, quiet, peace, prosperity, no fighting in the Middle East. That's the only thing in the way right now is the state of Israel, this little sliver of land with Jews and Christians and Muslims. That's the thing that's preventing peace to occur. It's not even a debate.
For their families and for their children. It's a choice between two futures, and it is a choice America cannot make for you. A better future is only possible if your nations drive out the terrorists and drive out the extremists.
I think that's a really good message to end on, because it's not just on the United States of America. It is up to the Middle East. It's up to leaders. It's up to good people. It's up to being willing to get to the round table and having a discussion, getting in front of the people that maybe necessarily you didn't have peace with throughout history. But what is the alternative? Just more war, more fighting, more displacement, more chaos, more mayhem? Is that really what we want as people? As free-thinking people who may have different religious perspectives, cultural perspectives, we speak different languages, we come from different places in the world, our skin tones might be different. Who cares? That's the beauty of being a human being on planet Earth, in my opinion, based on how I was born and how I was raised. I appreciate the fact that we all don't look alike, that we all don't sound alike, that we all have different cultures and things embedded in our ethnicities and our societies, our backgrounds that make us who we are. Having differences on Earth can be and should be a beautiful thing. And I just want to end by saying I'm extremely impressed by the speech Trump gave here. Why are we not seeing more of this? Does it make you think more about what you're seeing to be a complete sort of illusion to what truth might be? I'm not saying I'm suddenly a Trump fan, because I'm not. I want to make it very clear. I've publicly talked about how I'm not a huge Trump fan. But this speech, as it pertains to the Middle East, has the core principles and values of what we need as a cohesive unit to go forward with peace, to go forward with all of the things that we talk about. We have debates every single day. We go back and forth on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube, and we have debates in person, and you go and you watch two people get on stage and they shout and they scream and they go back and forth. And then you go home and then you wake up and you're in the same exact spot. Maybe you're emotionally triggered even more than you were before. How do we get to a point where our emotions are put to the side and we are talking about practical, actionable things to do? And what I really liked about the speech that he gave here is he held people accountable. He's talking to a room full of leaders in Saudi Arabia, saying to them, we are here, we want to help, but it's not up to America. It shouldn't be up to America. We can't help until you figure out your issues first. There are prerequisites to this. There's levels to this, people. The Middle East has a lot of work to do. He recognizes that. And we see that as a unit, as a world today, that we have to do something. Put your politics to the side. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Put those things to the side. You have to be able to look at somebody in the eye like this and say what he or she is saying is valid, is true, and will thread the needle. And so I would hope anybody, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, that you could be potentially inspired by the speech that he just gave 8 years ago. It still applies today. I would say it's extremely relevant to where we are today. If you believe in me and you want to support, you can donate through PayPal or buy me a coffee. Every little bit helps. But honestly, the best way to support is by joining the Inner Circle on Patreon, where you get exclusive perks, bonus content, and allow me to continue to make impactful videos and grow this platform. Do not forget to check out our Discord community with people from all over the world. We're having debates, meaningful dialogue every single day. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. I'll see you next time.